Hi, everybody. This is an update that's been long overdue, but I've been waiting for things to pan out more before I decided to say anything. Since the pandemic started, I have been, I'm still sleeping in my car at night, but I've been allowed to stay at my church during the day, so I don't have to go be out in public to be exposed more, because I am at high risk, being 64 years old and having COPD and emphysema. I have been making every effort to try to get things set up so that I don't have the issue of income and being homeless. And to some degree that has worked out, and that's the reason for this update. I have applied for Social Security retirement and been approved. I will receive my first direct deposit next month. But because I've paid so little into Social Security over the years, I'm only going to be getting $321. And that's a reduction because I am under 66 and a half, which is when they say that my retirement age actually kicks in. And they said it would be 480 something, I think, otherwise. So anyway, I'm getting $321. And I've also applied for disability. Because I don't have enough paid into Social Security, I don't qualify for Social Security disability. But I can apply for SSI, which is Supplemental Security Income, which is not Social Security. SSI is designed for people who don't have Social Security or don't qualify for Social Security for some other reason, such as not having enough paid in over the years to qualify for SSD. Anyway, it will be 6 months before they make a decision on that. And they always take 6 months to make a decision on SSI. I do have doctors this time, so I do have basically a medical trail to back up my claim. So hopefully this time they will approve me, but there is no guarantee. And in my experience, they always deny you the first time and make you appeal at least once. But this is the first time I've ever had medical information to back me up, so I may find out different this time. Unfortunately, there's no way for me to know in advance, and they won't be making a decision until about November. So between June and November, I'll just be getting $321 a month, with the exception that, and this part I don't really understand, but based on what they told me, because I turned 65 at the end of September, I'm going to get some kind of a payment in October just for being 65. It is not connected or related to Social Security retirement. It is not connected or related to SSI. And therefore, if I don't get approved for SSI and have to appeal, I won't have to pay that money back. And retirement won't deduct from my monthly payment for having received it. Or at least that's my understanding. So at least in the month of November, I will have a little bit extra coming in. And I'm still waiting for the stipend for, that the government's paying out to people that are basically out of work during the pandemic. As I understand it, they've already begun dispersing those funds, beginning with those who had direct deposit because they paid or they had a refund from 2018. And so therefore they're going to get theirs first. And those who didn't have a refund or for whatever reason did not supply them with a direct deposit, they're going to have to wait for a check to be mailed to them. So since I didn't have a refund for 2018, there was no direct deposit on file, so I have to wait for that check. When that check shows up, it's going to go. I'm going to be depositing it directly into my account. The money from that is going to be used to make a 1-month payment on all of my bills, but that's about all it's going to be good for. My Social Security retirement payment isn't going to be enough to pay much of anything. It'll pay something. I intend to make sure the phone bill is paid with it, and I intend to make sure that the creditors know that I am working on trying to increase my income to be able to afford these payments. I am going to try again once I have the first payment from retirement in my bank account. I am going to try to see if I can get a refinance on my car so that I can get a lower monthly payment. $540 is just not doable anymore. Now, when I went to the dealership last year to see if I could get a refi, they told me that the collateral was not worth as much as I still owed. And of course, that's because they always take interest first, and it's at least 6 months before you start seeing your principal go down. So I've made roughly 1.5 years worth of payments on the car, almost 2 years. I don't know if how much the principal has gone down, but I did get a payoff amount when I checked into it a couple of months ago, that it will be roughly $20,000, maybe a little less if I pay it all off at once. So I don't know what kind of a refi I'm going to be getting, if I can get one, but hopefully I can get one that will reduce my monthly payment to under $300 a month, I hope. I would still like to try to just raise the money to pay the car off. There's no sense in trying to sell it because I'm not going to be able to sell it for enough to break even. Whatever I sell it for, I'm still going to end up owing money. And so therefore, trying to sell the car is not an option. And I do still need a car living in LA. So I do intend to keep the car. And I do intend to try to figure out a way to pay the car off. My insurance has already been reduced, but I still have to talk to my insurance company because, as I understand it, the state of California insurance commissioner required all insurance company to refund payments for March and April due to the pandemic. My insurance company has only sent me emails talking about a 25% discount for March and April. Now, I still owe for March and April, but if I'm supposed to see a refund for March and April, that means I should not owe anything for March and April, which means that my current bill is still current and that payment won't be due until this month, which means I should only be 1 month behind right now, not 3. So I still have to talk to my insurance agent about that to find out what Farmers Insurance intends to do about not billing me for March and April. And I may have to consider canceling my insurance with them and finding another insurance company if I can't get a satisfactory resolution to this issue with farmers. I've enjoyed farmers insurance. It's been good insurance, even though I've never really had to use it, except for when the Altima got wrecked. I had to use the insurance to get the car towed to the collision center. And then one other time when the Subaru broke down, I had to use it to get towed over to the church parking lot here, but I ended up selling that car. And being that the only 2 times that the insurance company has been used has been to tow a car, which is part of my coverage, I don't think that's really that big of a deal. And so I'm going to be looking to see if Farmers is going to work with me or not. And if they decide that they aren't going to give me any kind of a discount or give me no billing for March and April, then I'm going to have to try to switch insurance companies. And that means I may be without insurance for a short period of time, which I'll just have to risk, but I hope I don't have to go that route. But either way, even if I do cancel the insurance, there's still going to be an outstanding bill with Farmers for the month of May, if nothing else. I can always fight them on the March and April part, but I will still owe them for May because the month is almost 10 days in and my payment was due on the 6th. And since I'm always paying for the month in advance, they're going to consider it at least due for the period of time after the 6th that was still owed for before I canceled it. I don't know. Have to wait and see how that works. The storage, I'll be able to make a month's payment out of the stipend, but I'm going to have to make payments to make up what I owe to them, and I will be having to pay the current storage until such time as I have an apartment and don't need it anymore. Which brings me up to housing. I am trying very hard to get a housing thing going. Yesterday I was informed that they are putting in for a hotel voucher for me. I'm not sure how long the voucher will be good for, but I've heard that it's good for 3 months. I'm not sure how long it'll take for the voucher to go through, if it goes through, because it may be denied for some reason. I just have to wait and see. But at least I'm headed in the right direction. And I have a therapist I'm seeing that's helping me work toward getting off the street. I have the case manager at Hope of the Valley who's still working my case from that end. So hopefully it won't be long and I will have housing that I don't have to worry about losing or giving up. The issue of paying rent for it is going to be something I'm going to have to deal with when I get there. Once I get SSI, and I'm just assuming that there is a better chance that I will get approved and not denied, they pay, I believe she said it was $985 a month. They will deduct the $321 I'm getting from retirement and give me the balance, the difference between $985 and less $321. So when that happens, it'll be a little bit easier to pay the bills, but it's still going to be a difficulty if I'm not in permanent housing yet and still have to keep the storage. Because while between now and then I may have been able to catch up on the storage, I'm pretty sure that the car payment problem is going to be paramount. And then there's my taxes for 2019 that I still have yet to file, and I'm going to owe because I have no way to pay it. And the IRS is going to attach my retirement income to get that money. So I'm not complaining about that, I'm just stating that it's a fact. So when that happens, I don't know how much income I'm going to have after they take whatever it is they take. So I don't know how it's going to go yet. Oh, and then there's the fact that I did drive for the better part of the first 2 months of this year, so I'm going to have to file taxes for that next year. And it also means that at some point during this year, if I want to avoid another penalty for not making estimated tax payments, I got to try to pay that before the end of the year. So I don't know how this is all going to work out. I stopped playing the lottery when I stopped driving because I didn't have the money to play it anymore. And since I never won anything significant from it, I have nothing to show for that effort except a bunch of tickets that didn't win. So as far as I'm concerned, the lottery was a failed effort, but I'm not going to say that it wasn't worth it because at the very least it was a learning experience. Because I played the same numbers for over a year and a half, it proved to me that the lottery is somewhat rigged. I believe that the reason the odds are so high on winning is because they don't mix the balls up well enough. So while there may be a few different balls popping up here and there, for the most part, it's the same balls popping up. I haven't sat down and gone through all the tickets and tried to get a history of the drawings to compare the numbers and figure out which numbers came up all the time and which ones didn't. But I can safely say that it makes sense that very few numbers were popping up regularly. A few numbers were popping up regularly. A few others were popping up not so regularly, and still others weren't coming up at all. So it was a learning experience, and I'm glad I have it. And it was a promise to myself that I was able to fulfill, because the promise was to play it until I either won or couldn't afford to play it anymore. And I played it until I couldn't afford to play anymore. So that's behind me. Working is behind me with COPD and emphysema and 3 compressed discs in my lower back and arthritis in both shoulders. There's very little chance that I'm ever going to be working again at my age. So I have to hope that whatever I get out of SSI and Social Security retirement is going to be enough. I'm still working at building my YouTube channel. I have been creating content and uploading it in the form of gameplay videos for the original U.S. releases of the Sokoban game. I'm not done with that. I've completed the color computer variant playthroughs, the MS-DOS variant playthroughs. I'm currently almost halfway through the Commodore 64 variant playthroughs, and we'll also be doing the Apple II variant playthroughs after I complete the C64s. And after that, I will be doing a playthrough of the ex-Sokoban variant, because that's the one that started the ball rolling with me trying to figure out what the original versions really were. So beyond that, I'm not sure what I'm going to do for content, but my intent is to include games for the color computer, since that's the retro machine I use the most. But hopefully I can build my channel to the point of being able to have enough subscribers and enough views to be able to get monetized, and maybe be able to set it up to be able to sell some merchandise and maybe have Patreon subscribers that help support the channel. But that is probably going to be somewhere down the road. You have to have a lot of subscribers and a lot of views before they will monetize you. So I have to wait and see how it goes. Anyway, I'm going to continue working on that, and being at the church has been helpful because I've had a place to set up my computer and work on it. And if you notice the headphones with the mic, that is thanks to a friend who is a member of this church who donated these headphones to me because she knew that I was going to be trying to build my YouTube channel with gaming. And she also provided me with the necessary Y cable to be able to plug this into the headphone port on my computer so that I would have a working mic that will pick up my voice better than the mic built into the computer does. So this is going to help make a big difference when it comes to making videos for YouTube. And it is my hope that it's going to make this video better for those of you wanting to know about the update. So this is 22 minutes in. I think I've spent enough time on it. I'm going to go ahead and get this uploaded to YouTube and get it shared with Facebook, Twitter, and a few other places to get the word out. I still want to try to get the money to pay the car off and pay off a few other bills if I can, so that I have the least number of bills hanging over my head as possible. So if you feel like contributing, please do. I could use all the help I can get. I am going to continue to work on trying to get my life together, whether this pans out or not, but I haven't given up yet. You guys have a great day and stay safe and be careful out there.